Welcome to the boating adventure. I've got my fingers and my toes crossed today as I approach the swamp duck, and I'll show you why. One of the things that has been of concern to me over recent months has been the state of the roof of the canopy. It took a real hit when I was on the Ashby Canal because the farmer in the field next door decided one day to spray the field with a white powdery substance which everybody assumed was some form of lime, and so it created a great dust everywhere which settled on everybody's boats. And in fact I discovered later on that it wasn't lime dust, it was actually plasterboard. Apparently that's a cheaper alternative for farmers to plough in plasterboard into their soil to break it up, and so it was white, really just plaster that was plastering the boat, and it took a lot of cleaning, but it's always left a residue on the vinyl, which I've tried all sorts of things to cover it and to get it off. I've used shoe polish, a blue shoe polish to try and colour it. I've bought all sorts of different vinyl cleaners, but it never gets it off. And once it gets wet and the rain tends to collect there, it just makes it worse. So I've invested in a massive bottle of stuff which I saw on the internet, except when it came it was tiny. Yes. Anyway, so it's called vinyl roof colorant paint restoration medium, and when I read about this is supposed to be able to restore the color to the vinyl, and you had to buy separately a little pad which is kind of sandpapery with a bit of sponge in between. So first of all you have to basically clean the area that you're going to do with this sandpaper, and just lightly clean it so that it makes a bit of a fix. So I'm just going to try one small area to begin with and see how I get on. So I clean it with this, and then I have to wash it down with just some ordinary detergent, let it dry, and then have a go at putting this on. And you put it on with a sponge, and it says it takes 2 or 3 coats, so I hope it goes a long way. But we'll see how we get on with that one, and I'll let you know. Okay, so this is the area that I'm going to try. You can see I've just tried to square it off a little bit. Certainly this sandpaper seems quite effective. Okay, so I've done that bit. Just going to wash it down with some detergent. Just using the sandpaper is looking promising. Right, so I'm just going to let that dry. It is quite windy today, so it shouldn't take long. But that's looking a whole lot better already. But it's what happens when it dries. So you now have to shake this stuff for a minute. Okay, so I've done this little bit here. And I'm not quite finished. So I've left this bit here so you can see the contrast. That is looking promising. And that's only after one coat. But it all depends what it dries like. That certainly looks like it's an improvement. I need to do the whole of this top here just to make it all match up. So far, so good. And it hasn't yet rained. It's looking a bit iffy. There's some really dark clouds around about, but I'm hoping that this blue sky is coming my way. That's dried to touch now, and it's keeping its colour, so fingers crossed. So that looks an awful lot better than it did, even on the very white parts. It's now dried blue, so that's pretty good. So I'm now going to apply some of this 303 aerospace protection, which I normally use, and it usually gives quite a nice shine. So I do think that that little bottle has performed a minor miracle there. That's pretty good. I'm quite impressed with that. And I'm sure that will keep the rain out for a lot longer. Keeping these canopies clean is a bit of a nightmare. Be interesting to see what happens when it rains and gets water sitting on it, whether it'll stay blue or whether it'll go back to white. The signs are looking good. It certainly doesn't come off your hands very easily. And it has quite a nice smooth texture to it. There is a reasonable amount of this left. Now, for once I didn't buy this from Amazon, I just got it straight off online. It was from a company, www.carbusonic.co.uk, the Leather Colour Doctor LCD, and it's a vinyl roof colourant paint, restoration medium, and I got dark blue. It was the only blue that they actually had, and I thought, well, it doesn't really matter so much, and it will, I'm sure it'll lighten up in the sunshine. So there's enough there to maybe put another coat on at some time. It was, I can't remember the price of it. It wasn't massively expensive, but I thought the little pad was, considering the size of it. It's been raining on and off since I painted the swamp ducks at Canopy, and there's been some sunshine, so I'll be interested to see what the state of the canopy is like. Well, apart from the water that's collected on the top, it doesn't actually look too bad. So if I get rid of that, it's still a bit white underneath. But I'll be interested to see what that's like when it dries. Better than it was, but I just wonder what that will dry like. I brought the paint and I think I might just put another coat on because it's a bit patchy in places. Okay, so now it's dried. I don't think it's too bad. You can see where the original white patch was, and I think if I just put some more paint just on that patch there, that might be enough now. But it hasn't dried as white as it used to be. So I think that would be quite good, and it is quite smooth and stuff, so I think that might do. Say hi.
Hi.
We're just going to take the swamp duck out up the River Trent for about half an hour to an hour, just to blow the cobwebs off again, and when we come back we're going to reverse the swamp duck into its mooring, because on Monday next week the River Canal Rescue are coming to collect the engine so they can take it off to Harrison's at Sireston for its annual service, and then they'll bring it back. It'll probably take a week, sometimes 2 weeks, and they refit it and make sure it's all working properly. And we certainly need the engine looking after this year, because we've got some really good long trips planned, haven't we?
We certainly have.
So we're just going off to the left because we're going up the Upper Trent. Okay, so the guys from River Canal Rescue have taken the engine, and we'll see how long it takes for it to come back. A little job that I'm going to do today, whilst the engine is at Harrison's having its annual service, is to give the engine compartment a bit of a clean. There are a couple of drain holes in each corner so that when it fills up with rainwater, the rainwater drains out of the boat. But they tend to get covered in grime and blocked with leaves. So I need to clean those out, and I'm just going to give the engine compartment a general clean so it's not so grubby and greasy. It's pretty yucky and it really needs a good clean. And it's just starting to snow. Okay, so that's better. You can now see the drain hole on that side and the drain hole on that side. Now no leaves there to stop the water from going away. I'd like to say a big thank you to those people who've given me some suggestions as to what I can do about replacing these Calagas 3.9 cylinders that they're no longer producing. One viewer gave me the address of a person who could supply me with a 6 kilogram basket, which is a lot deeper and a little bit stronger than the ones that I've got on the boat at the moment, and it would get over that nagging feeling that the gas cylinders are going to topple out over the back of the boat into the cut or the river. Another suggestion is that I should go to Flow Gas, because Flow Gas are still supplying a 3.9 gas cylinder. And I think I would prefer to do that if I could, because I think I would prefer to see 2 cylinders on the back of the boat there, because when you're out on the cut you're not going to worry about whether you're going to run out of gas. You've always got a spare with you. The only disadvantage is that Flow Gas won't accept the old Calagas cylinders in exchange, so it does mean starting a rental agreement with them all over again. But I've costed it out and it comes to £130. The advantage is that I've got on the boat at the moment about 1.5 cylinders worth of gas. And that's going to take me quite a while to get through that because I don't use it very often. So I think I've got at least a year's supply of gas on the boat. So it's something that I don't have to worry about imminently. But at least I know now that there are a couple of options that I can think about. So thank you very much to everybody who gave me their ideas and suggestions. A very good morning to you. It's Thursday the 23rd of March 2023 and I've come over to the Swamp Duck today because the River Canal Rescue are going to be returning the engine from its service. Hopefully they're coming sometime this afternoon. They did ring this morning just to check that I was here, so I'm looking forward to that coming back. And it would have been back in time for us to take the Swamp Duck out this Saturday. We were planning to take the boat up to the Tixall Wide on the Staffs and Worcester Canal, so that would mean going up the Trent and Mersey and past Fradley Junction and onto the Staffs and Worcester at Haywood Junction. So we were looking forward to that. However, the weather seems to have had other plans. The snow that we've had in the UK at the beginning of the month is obviously has been taking quite some time for the water from it to find its way down the River Trent. And at the moment the River Trent in this area, according to the CRT, is in the red. Although if you look on the government website, the river levels have been normal for quite a few days. So I think there must be quite a strong current on the river at the moment, so that the CRT don't feel happy in opening the flood locks yet. So I don't think that they are going to be open by Saturday, but they may be, so it's a bit of a nail-biting time. We do have a slight window of a couple of days, so we could start the trip on Monday, but if we don't do it then I won't have time to do it. There are 1 or 2 hospital appointments that need to be fitted in, so it would mean that we wouldn't be able to start this trip until after Easter. So it just depends on what happens in the next few days. This video will be coming out this coming Saturday the 25th of March 2023, because I have now caught up with real time. I am currently going through some of my old videos and remastering them, so you'll see that I will have done a short introduction to those in the community post, which will come out sometime in the next few days. Whilst I'm waiting for the River Canal rescue to come and bring the engine, I'm going to spend a bit of time on the Canopy. It has held up quite well with that blue paint that I put on. We've had a lot of rain in the last few days, and so there's been water sitting there on the top, and it hasn't marked it too badly. The whiteness has come back to a certain extent, so I just need to put another coat on, and I think that will be okay. And I've bought some more of the Canopy polish that I use, so I'm going to give it a really good spray of that, and hopefully that will be enough to keep it going for at least the next few months or so. The engine is now being returned and installed. All we need now is the river levels to go down and we'll be away. I'd like to say a big thank you to all the staff at LR Harris & Sons for looking after the engine. You always do a brilliant job. And also I'd like to say a big thank you to all the staff at River Canal Rescue, who every year look after me and fetch and carry the engine, bring it back and reinstall it. You always do a brilliant job. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, then please consider doing so. Please give us a like as well. It all helps. So thank you very much for watching, and do take care.